Much, Mr. Chair. I'm going to start with something the Secretary General said yesterday, which is that multipolarity without multilateralism can lead to chaos. It certainly cannot achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, and I'm very encouraged by the spirit of the interventions and the spirit of this initiative, Secretary General and dear Amina, to bring back multilateralism to these financing issues. Le Canada s'engage à travailler.
Canada is committing itself to work in partnership to bridge the existing gaps, and we welcome the leadership and the vision expressed by the Secretary General and the leaders of the international financial institutions that we have heard today.
Of international finance in scaling up private finance for emerging and developing economies is what I want to touch on today. And that's something we focused on at the G7, but really it's been the work of this table and more broadly. I want to salute the leadership of the World Bank, the IMF, the regional development banks in moving this forward. And there was an element of that at the G7. But the way I'm going to organize my thoughts, 4 points actually, around building that system, financial system for our grandkids, again, drawing on the intervention of the Managing Director and the Secretary General earlier. First thing we need is to recognize that we need to use scarce dollars to the maximum effect. This isn't just about bigger volumes, it's about using scarce public dollars to maximum effect. And that is catalyzing financial instruments using risk mitigation tools to better allocate risk between the public and private sector. I will just refer for speed to the agenda of the Private Sector Investment Lab and what the World Bank has been doing on risk management. The second point is crowding in institutional capital through originate to distribute models. There's a lot of words there. What it basically means is recycling the balance sheets of our international financial institutions. So they are there catalyzing the new lending. Once it matures, it's parked off to other holders that can hold it for the long term, and it's all about action, new action at the MDBs. The third point is strengthening the structures, processes, governance of the institutions. To put it into plain words, the shareholders should be looking at key performance indicators that are directly tied, of course, to the Sustainable Development Goals, but also absolute volumes of capital that are moving. And in some cases, it's not about lending. It's actually about technical assistance. It's making capital flow possible. So all of those activities that catalyze in flows towards the SDGs. I will reference the work that has been done and needs to be completed on a cross-border carbon market, which could close 1/3 of the climate finance gap between now and 2035. And I will also just associate myself with the framework that President Ramaphosa did outline for the G20, which is more comprehensive than what I've just said. Last point I'll make is that at the G7 there were a few instruments that were launched that build on some of the general points that I just made. Billions of dollars in new financing through the IADB and the Caribbean Development Bank, and a structure where a number of countries came together called SCALED, which is Scaling Capital for Sustainable Development. The point of this, it's measured in billions, but really the point is it's a template. It's a template for putting in place those general points that I made. It has, as its name suggests, an ability to scale. And if I may close on this, Chair, there is an enormous gap. We know that. But the gap in terms of financial technology and the solutions has closed. The question is whether we're going to deploy them and scale. Thank you very much.